I'm not going to reset it because we're done. So can you say goodnight to everybody? We'll see them on Sunday for
Good night. I'll see everybody on Sunday.
Subscriber Sunday.
For Subscriber Sunday. And if Whitney has dumped me, she's a fucking Cummings.
All right, we'll see you Sunday for Subscriber Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Bye. 5 p.m. on Sunday.
5 p.m. on Sunday.
Good night.
All right, good night, Perry.
Fucking asshole.
I can still hear you, you know. All right, he's gone. All right, well, again, I apologize if I was I was a little cantankerous. I really was operating on very little sleep today, and I had a very long day. And if I snapped at him a couple of times, that's why. But you guys know the deal. I thought it was I think this was a good one. I think him making the egg shot probably surprised me the most. I was shocked at that. Go watch some Red Bar to wind down. You know, I never watch Red Bar. I only listen to it. I never watch it. I don't have the time to devote to that. Thanks, and thanks for the well wishes for my dad. You know, he's just feeling really off. Since it's weird. He got that second shot back in February, and he just hasn't been reacting well to it. I think it's because maybe they think it's because his immune system is so strong that it was fighting against it, but he's having all these he's having like dizzy spells, and they thought it was his heart, but his heart checked out, so it might be neurological. So we're running all kinds of tests and stuff. So it's been a rough week with that, but he'll pull through. My dad's really strong. The thing that's taking him back is he's in great shape for his age. So he's not used to feeling weak. He's always been like really strong. You know, still goes to the gym, does a ton of swimming and stuff. So I'm confident he'll bounce back. But it's just been a difficult stretch for him. So you know, some people react really bad to that second dose of the vaccine, and he's definitely one of them. Yeah, your dad had no reaction. My mom was fine. The one I was worried about was my mom. My mom was fine. She had the second shot. It was like nothing happened. She didn't even have anything. So I'm getting mine on Monday. I'm not looking forward to it. But let me just see. Okay, that's good. But we'll see. Like I'm not like, you know, panicking or anything. But it was the Maduro one, which shot. It was the Moderna, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, some people say don't get the vaccine. You know, it is my thing with the vaccine is like I gotta travel next month. And it's just like, whatever. I just want to get it over with. I'm sick of wearing masks. I want to be able to not wear a mask and stuff. So whatever. Moderna, yeah. I'm a little fried, so if my speech is off, that's why. Tom, I'm so sick of the Whitney shit. I decided they needed to break up. Yeah, the Whitney stuff. It's like it's good for some things, but man, it's just so annoying on other levels. Wow, the second shot fucked you up. Woke up bad shiver. Yeah, that's what I heard. My friend had a really bad reaction to it. He had Pfizer. My friend had like full on fever, chills, really bad. You know, it's good to have some kind of grounded thing with him where he behaves for somebody, but it's the past 2 nights. He was like texting me in the middle of the night, like Wednesday after the stream. He was like an hour after he's like texting, you know. And again, because of the thing with my dad, because my dad not doing well, I usually have my phone set to do not disturb after like midnight usually, so like my notifications go silent and everything. But because of everything that's going on with him, I have it on. And of course, the 1 week that I have it on, Perry completely abuses the privilege and is like texting me ad nauseum in the middle. Just he gets up to pee, he's texting me, and I'm telling you, like there was one, I was sound asleep. Whatever, I was in the middle of a dream, and then the sound of like the phone going off, ripping you out of that, is just so jarring, and you can never really get back to where you were. And then I managed to finally fall back asleep, and then he texts again, and it's all stupid stuff. I have a phone call about, like, we talked on the phone earlier for a while. I'll probably put up on Patreon on Monday. It's not, it's not as good as the phone calls about the boxes, but it's stuff, yeah. And also, the other thing about the Whitney stuff is, like, there's clearly several people pretending to be Whitney, and they're not all on the same level, and they're not all on the same page, so it's just, it doesn't work, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, there's clearly one person that's better at it than the other, but not to critique, but yeah. Perry isn't the best. Perry's pretty good, actually. Perry's been pretty good the past couple of weeks, but he needs to drop some weight for sure. And yeah, he's going to the gym and stuff, but he's got to shape up his diet. I want to get him a trainer and all that stuff. What am I wearing, Faster Blade? Well, let me tell you. I'm wearing a Superman shirt with the the S insignia, T-shirt, and blue jeans. Dark blue jeans, Donna Karan jeans, actually, one of my oldest pair of jeans, that are just really comfortable. So that's why I'm wearing them. Just so you know. You're welcome. Oh, I got a movie recommendation for you guys. If I don't know how many people out there are into like 70s movies, like 1970s movies. It's probably my favorite decade of movies because there's a lot of risk taking in them. Anyway, I saw one. It came across on my YouTube. Like, I watch a lot of old Siskel and Ebert, and they were doing a review show of like forgotten movies of the 70s. It was a great episode, except whoever put it up on YouTube cut out the actual scenes from the movies that's frustrating. Most of the movies I'd seen, I hadn't seen this one. So if it's on Amazon, I got it off Amazon. You could probably download it somewhere, but I got it off Amazon. I rented it. It's called The Late Show with Art Carney and Lily Tomlin. They're both excellent in it. And Art Carney plays this detective in L.A. And it's kind of like an old school, like, Private Eye story. But it's very good. I just watched it on a whim, and it was excellent. Really, really enjoyed it. Art Carney's great in it. It's good story, good movie, and somebody was hitting me up the other day, like, hey, do you have any movie recommendations? Well, that I haven't seen too many movies lately, but that's definitely one I would recommend. I got the Shop Vac toilet video. I have not watched it yet. I guess, I got to look up. Maybe somebody got with this. Is pee okay to show on YouTube? Like, can you show? I mean, it's watered down pee in a toilet. I'm assuming that's okay on YouTube. Yeah, The Long Goodbye is also good. Elliot Gould and Dr. Sleep, of course. We've talked about that. Excellent. Sequel, technically, I guess you'd call it. But yeah, I'll put it on page. I mean, but if somebody can do me because I looked it up and I couldn't find a definitive answer. It's a weird thing, but I don't. It's not straight up pee. It's like toilet water. I think it's fine, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll blur it out if I have to. But I think I would blur it out just to spare people from seeing it. So I don't know. Like, do people want to see it, like, unedited, or do you want to see it? But I haven't watched it yet. I have it sitting there, and I'm really behind on the YouTube uploads, which I'm gonna get going. I've had so much going on. personally and professionally, that I had to table it, but I've got a couple done in the can, and I'll be putting those out. You want the uncensored version? Yeah, so it's up to you. I mean, I'll put it on I'll definitely put it on Patreon for sure. But yeah, I was confused. I was confused about that. It was just like one of those things. Like, well, there's already so many things that are on these streams that I know are not on anybody else's YouTube. That I don't want to. Can you report somebody for having pee? Yeah, Dustin, if I'm gonna try to sleep late tomorrow, but I might do that. I might call him at 5 a.m. So I'd have to be up at 8 o'clock to call him at 5. And what would I say to him? Yeah, so Dustin actually floated this theory, if you didn't see it, in the Facebook group. It was interesting because we have this early morning theory of Perry, and it came to me when he was telling the Randy Callahan story again, where I didn't realize this, but Randy had called him early in the morning. And the theory is that he's very susceptible to suggestion early in the morning, because it's happened with his witness people, it's happened with other people where he's just susceptible to suggestion. So should I try it? And then what would be the thing that I say to get him to do? It couldn't be too crazy. Have I announced anything about Adult Swim? No, just that he's filming. He's filming a piece for it early next month. And once we have it in the can, and I talk to the producers and everything, and I'll see. I'm gonna get some video and photos of him, doing the shoot, and I'll get permission to, probably closer to when it airs, but I'll post some pictures of him doing it. He's got to memorize a couple of lines, which is going to be tricky, but I think he's got it. It's literally written for him, so it shouldn't be too hard. Well, he gets up at 6 a.m. not for no reason, Joe. It's just he's trained. Again, he was trained to get up. Garrett, you looked it up. Piss is okay for YouTube. All right. Yeah, it's just, like if there was the other stuff in there, I think we'd have a problem. But anyway, he gets up early because he used to get up early for the print shop job, and he's just conditioned still. And it doesn't make any sense because now he works at night, or he works late afternoon or in the evening time, and he should be conditioning himself for that, But he does take naps, so his energy level has been pretty good overall. I'd say the past couple of weeks. But he was definitely fading towards the end. I don't know. What does he do? He gets up. I think he meanders around. He makes his giant vat of coffee. And he makes breakfast, which is sometimes like eggs and toast and sausage, maybe. So I don't know, maybe I don't think he reads the Wall Street Journal and checks the stock market or anything like that. I think so. There'd be a lot of gaps in there that I don't know. What's Odyssey? Streaming and backing up videos on Odyssey. I don't know what that is. Yeah, bath. Yeah, you got coffee plus butter, shits. Sausage is definitely cooked on the Foreman. But I don't know. I've never spent the night there, and I never will. Oh, by the way, thank you to both Faster Blade and Dusty the Zombie for your PayPals. That was really sweet. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, he's a lot of different P's. There's the defiant P, the sneaky P, and then the sneaky defiant P. What's all the Tony Hinchcliffe shit? Well, he got in big trouble this week because he was on stage in Austin, Texas, following a comic who happens to be Chinese, and he came out doing like really disparaging language. It's funny, Perry, I guess, saw it today at some point and was texting me. I said, okay, well, you can bring it up on the stream. And then when he started talking about it tonight, I was like, please don't say the word. He said, please don't say the word, because he said a racist term for Chinese people. Tony Hinchcliffe did on stage, and I was just hoping Perry didn't say, you said, I always live in fear of that. So he didn't, thankfully. He actually handled it really well. But anyway, yes, that's so Tony, he got his show canceled because the venue that he uses canceled him. So, I mean, look, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture in general, but he came off really bad, and then like other people, like these other comics, they put out like, oh well, you need to see the full version of the video, and the full version of the video is just as bad, if not worse. So, and I think Tony Hinchcliffe sucks anyway. So he'll bounce back though, because Rogan will open his club and have him back or whatever. But all those comics are in trouble anyway. But yeah, that's that. If you didn't know, that's what the story was. Yeah, the Brody argument video, people blame Tony for what happened with Brody, which might be a little much, but I saw somebody post that a picture of Brody, and it said sweet justice for Brody finally, which is a little extreme, but I found it amusing because I can't stand Tony. By the way, a lot of people have been messaging me, an insane amount of people have been messaging me that they not only have been listening to Red Bar or watching Red Bar, but they signed up for the Scars Club, which is their premium service for bonus content. And I wonder like if when you sign up, like if you like, how did you hear about it? If people say, oh, Perry Caravello live, and if he even knows who the hell Perry Caravello is. Because I've counted at least 20 plus people, and that's just people messaging me personally who said that they've been turned on to it, and there's got to be more. So it's I just found that interesting. Yeah, right. Like, so Amy says that he was playing to 5 people in Anton's in Austin. So, no, Red Bar is not Brian Redband. It's very different. Just look up redbarradio.net. Red Bar is a podcast that is basically, they call it a hate cast. It basically just shits on all these lousy comedians and their shitty podcasts and their shitty shows, and their exposes terrible people. It's very interesting. Especially if you're like an old school Stern fan, it gets very into people that are really obscure. I probably wouldn't know half those people if it wasn't listening for Red Bar. Festival, I'd love to bring you soup. I hope you're feeling better. I was really sick a couple of weeks ago, and it fucking blows. So I hope you do have someone to take care of you, because. Again, like I said, I think I said a couple weeks ago, you forget what it's like to be sick. In the past year, with all the mask wearing and social distancing and whatever you think about that, the end result is, less people are sick. Not forget about COVID, like even like a cold or a fever or flu. And I think now that things are loosening up, you're more susceptible to that stuff, like catching a cold, catching a fever, catching the flu. And it's been so long that it's like, oh shit, that's right. I forgot about COVID. I forgot what it's like to be regular sick. I do hate Joey Diaz. I think he's a fucking loser. Horrible. He's one of the worst parts about that horrible Comedy Central documentary that was on Showtime. Just, AKA the Comedy Store infomercial for Joe Rogan and all his shitty people. 16 months, yeah, that's about right. First time you've been sick in 16 months. Yeah, I had a good long run too. You're a Diaz fan? Oof. Other than that, I like you, Faster Blade. Red Bar is a hack. I'll disagree with that. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. Just because I'm opinionated about things doesn't mean that you have to agree. I don't think he's a good storyteller or a good comic, Diaz. I think he's unbearable to listen to. No, I'm not into crypto, but I've had a lot of friends trying to get me into crypto. But yeah, no, just never dabbled in it. I got enough on my plate. I can't learn something else. I don't have any room in my brain. Why don't I like Rogan? I just think Rogan's a tool. I think Rogan comes off as like he's a know-it-all. And I think the ego of this nonsense of Rogan being the Johnny Carson of our time, I think is nonsense. And the only thing that's good about Rogan is it's like the same thing with Stern. People. I always hate when people call Stern a great interviewer. Same thing with Rogan. It's like it's not the person, it's the format. It's like if you sit down anybody for an hour and have a conversation, there's some good things that can come out of it. That's why, podcasts have pretty much put an end to late night TV being a thing, because late night TV is awful. Because any of these, it doesn't matter who the host is. Even when Letterman was on, you can't get anything out of anybody when you have a segment of like, what is one segment? Is it like, do you get 5 minutes out of somebody before they have to cut to commercial, and then you get to and then you go through the whole commercial break, and then you got to come back, and you can never get into that same footing. The format of a podcast, or even like something like the Stern Show, is you can talk to this person for as long as it takes, and you'll get tons of stuff that you'll never get on another format. But it's the format. It's not the person. It's not the individual. And I just think Rogan is such a tool, and he's so stupid. He's so dumb, but he comes off like he's like an intellect or something, like he's actually done so. He got very lucky, and you give him credit where credit's due. I mean, obviously, I've listened to it on occasion for a guest that I've wanted to hear. Like, he'll sometimes get people that don't do interviews, and that will okay, I guess I'll have to listen to to Rogan for this person. But yeah, I just can't stand. I just can't listen to him. I can't hate his voice. But yeah, late night TV, you can't get anything off late night TV. I mean, you'll never get it. You'll never get a good interview off late. Except that when years ago, when again, not to date myself or anything, but you'd watch Johnny Carson, but the commercial breaks weren't as constant, so you'd have a longer segment, and you could actually get something out of somebody. But and also you get the studio audience that takes over too. That affects the and that you don't have that on a podcast or Stern Show. No, I don't watch UFC. I'm not anti-UFC by any means. It's just not in my wheelhouse. But I'm not anti-UFC. But yeah, and everybody says the Spotify deal is killed Rogan, because nobody can watch the shows. The video player's a joke, and when he was on YouTube, everybody has YouTube. Everybody can watch YouTube, and I haven't listened to. I mean, I don't listen to Rogan anyway, but I haven't listened to Rogan since he's been on Spotify. Even if there was somebody I wanted to listen to, I'm not going to go out of my way for it. Tom, if you want to be completely depressed, go on YouTube and look up the last time Artie and Gilbert were in the studio together. When was that? Because I've heard most Artie and Gilbert. Was that the one at Artie's place? Because I know, or was it Gilbert's podcast? Because I heard most of them. The first time Artie did Gilbert's podcast was fantastic. He was really great. There's some really big laughs in that one, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Yeah, of course Stern sucks. We've talked about that. Stern's worse than Rogan now, which is tough to wrap your head around. Yeah, Carson would have an A-lister and a normal person on the couch together, like Brando and some card collector. That's what's cool about it. And also, I'll also say when shows, probably since Letterman, like when a show first starts out, they can't get the A-listers, so they have to try harder. And to me, those are the most interesting guests. Like if you look at early Letterman, like early 80s, he had all kinds of people on, no A-listers whatsoever. He didn't get A-listers until like the mid 80s. I think he started around 82. You didn't see A-listers on Letterman until like mid 80s. I watch a lot of Letterman on YouTube, and like I think I said, like there's a great Desi Arnaz interview, and he had him on for like 2 or 3 segments. And it's fantastic. He would never have, you would never get somebody like that on if he was like putting A-list guests on, and he would have like regular people that like were quirky. Kimmel did that too. If you look back at like Kimmel's first year or two, Kimmel had like YouTubers, like not even YouTubers, because YouTube was barely a thing at the time, but like he'd have somebody who was famous on YouTube for like falling downstairs or something, and that to me was far more interesting than him, sucking up to Matt Damon or George Clooney or whoever. And he'd have like Mike Tyson on, somebody like that. And at the time when Mike Tyson wasn't the renewed Mike Tyson we know today, he was still the dangerous, scary Mike Tyson fresh out of prison. Like those kind of guests. And that to me is far more interesting than hearing some nauseating, A-lister plug their latest piece of shit. Kimmel used to be good when he was fat. Yeah, I guess. I mean, all those shows are unwatchable now. Tom, you say Howard Stern show is your number one of all time. What's my number 2 and 3? I mean, as far as shows, like comedy shows, it's funny. There really wasn't a number 2 or 3 because Stern show took up so much of my time. I didn't fuck. Like I would listen to every syllable of every show in like the specifically the 90s. I guess number 2 would be Letterman because I would tape Letterman and then watch it the next day. I don't know if I have a number 3. Yeah, maybe Carson and Letterman if we count. As far as radio, nobody. I didn't listen to anybody else on the radio. I would listen to like old man talk shows on like New York local radio in the afternoon sometimes because I didn't have a TV in my bedroom. I had a radio, so I listened to like Bob Grant and people like that. If you're outside of New York, you don't know who that is. But I didn't really have a 2 or 3. Stern was everything. He took up the top 10 for me, and I was completely indoctrinated. Like especially as a kid, whatever he advertised, I supported. Like that's how not brainwashed, but that's how much people love that show. Especially if you were on the East Coast, where before he really syndicated out, if he told you to drink Snapple, you were fucking drinking Snapple. That's just the way it was. It doesn't exist. There's nothing like that exists anymore. As far as like advertising goes, you're gonna listen to some fucking podcaster talk about some VPN server to get where they all have the same commercial. VPN, NordVPN, and the Manscaper, whatever that's called. That's all they advertise. Yeah, right. Kirk says, I hate how Rogan pretends to be smart. And yeah, that's the biggest problem. He tries to come off like an intellect, and then he tries to debunk people too. he'll be like, "Oh, that's not true though." It's like, he sounds so stupid. He's just big dumb Joe. He's just a dope. I think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to like UFC stuff, but outside of that, when he tries to get intellectual, it's nauseating. My favorite comedians, like I said, I hate pretty much all comedians. I think all comedians pretty much suck. There's been some people that have mentioned names in here that I just don't know, but yeah, it's Norm Macdonald. I like Gilbert Gottfried. I'm thinking of current comedians that are still working. That's about it. Outside of Norm, I don't give a shit about anybody. I really don't. I think they're all fucking bullshit. I really name me a good comedian. But if you guys like, Bill Burr maybe 10 years ago, but definitely not now. And I love comedians too. Like if you ever badmouth comedians to an actual comedian, they get so offended and they're like, "Oh well, like to see you try it." I'm like, "Yeah, anybody can do it. Like you're not special. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do what you do. Anybody can get on stage and tell fake stories and try to be funny, but very few people can do it well." No, I don't know who Drake Sather. There's a lot of comedians I don't know who are probably good. It's like music. It's like there's probably a lot of bands out there that I don't know about that are probably really good. But if I list my top 5 bands, no, I'm not big on Lewis Black. No, I mean he's not terrible, but like I don't hate like there's certain comedians I just hate. Like you just can't stand the sight of them. Yeah, Carlin, Pryor, Rodney, all great, obviously. But I meant people that are around today. Everybody always says Carlin and Pryor. Those are obvious ones. Yes, every hack says those names, and so you're almost like they don't count. Yeah, I like Chappelle. I don't know new Chappelle though. I haven't heard Chappelle in a long time. I haven't heard Chappelle. Funniest Chappelle thing though is like I think he was doing this Laugh Factory. He was doing a show at the Laugh Factory, and the Laugh Factory has that famous big Laugh Factory logo, and he comes out and he goes, "Man," he's like, "every time I see this background, I think that Tom Kramer fucked up." And it's so true. Anytime I see any comedian at the Laugh Factory or a clip from the Laugh Factory, all I think about is Kramer. All I think about is Michael Richards losing his mind because you just see that background of the Laugh Factory, and I can't get it out of my head. It doesn't matter who's on that stage, anybody, and all I'm thinking about is, oh, that's the one where Kramer was on, where he went crazy. Like it's true. It's like they should change that background. They should get a new background because it's just so infamous from that 2006. Which is pre-smartphone, too. I don't know what that was filmed on. It must have been like a BlackBerry or a flip phone or something. Back when comedians can still think they can get away with stuff in an audience where they're like, "Oh, this is just for this room. It'll never leave this room." It's like, okay, well, not anymore. We're in a new era now. And I think like Chappelle wisely did this thing where he confiscates phones when you go see them. I think it's not so much to so they don't have their sets recorded and posted online. I think it's because if they fuck up, they don't have their errors out there. Who are we talking about? Okay, so if I like Norm, he's 80% Norm. Drake was worked on news radio. What's his name? Drake what? My top 5 favorite snowboarders. Well, James Bond would be number 1, aka Roger Moore. Tom Sims would be number 2. Perry would be number 3. That's it. I'm out. I can't think of any other snowboarders. Yeah, Perry would be 3 by default because at least he's snowboarded. I don't know anybody in my life who has snowboarded once. Perry at least did it twice or 3 times if you count the hallway stunt. Drizzy Drake. All right, I'm going to write that name down, and I'll get back to you. Drizzy Drake. Drake Sather. Okay. I'll get back to you on that. It's hard when you get to a certain age and you're set in your ways about what you like and dislike. It's hard to get into new music, and it's hard to get into new comedy. When's the last time you got into a new comedy? I can't remember the last comedy show that I started watching. That was like a new show. Like, oh, there's this new comedy show you have to watch. Can't think of one. Can't think of one. Was this guy Drake, is he derivative of Norm, or is he just Norm-like in the best way possible? Yeah, I was kind of serious about snowboarding with Perry. It could be good content, because I would like to get some good content. Is there going to be a Big Three podcast? Well, Perry recorded it, so I don't know. Maybe. I'm not involved with it, but I know he did it. Very convinced you he's a professional snowboarder. Well, it's on his arm. It must be true. I don't know why that bothers me so much. It really bothers me. Yeah, I like Norm, but I've seen comedians that try to be like Norm and they're not, and it's like trying to cover like the Beatles or something like that. It's weird. Like, I've seen people try to do what Norm does and fail at it really bad. What do I think of Bro Rogan laughing at Joey Diaz rape stories but thinking Clinton Weinstein criminals? Yeah, exactly. It's so fucking hypocritical. It's like, here you got Joey Diaz talking about all the females that, like, you know, did things sexually with him for favors in the comedy world, and that's somehow okay. Norm is genuine, but he also doesn't give a fuck. I think that's the secret of life, is stop giving a fuck what people think about you. And I think that comes with a high level of self-awareness. And I think the only critique I can give of Norm is he comes off as lazy sometimes. I think he should be so much more than what he is, but I think he's a little lazy. Where he could do so, again, it's like that band you like and you're afraid of them. You're afraid of them getting big because it's like you're a little secret, and then you don't want everybody to have it. Like Norm is kind of mainstream, but he's kind of not, and I think he should be 1,000 times bigger than what he is. Oh, that's interesting. Just an FYI time, Rogan is a joke in the MMA community too. He's so bad now it's laughable. Okay, you know, that doesn't surprise me at all. Mantis Mel, I went to a comedy show last weekend, was outdoors in a parking lot. Ugh. Really? You liked that? That sounds horrible. Just regular that sounds horrible. The last place I want to be well, I don't want to be in a comedy club, but I certainly don't want to be in a comedy club parking lot watching horrible comedians. That sounds horrible. Yeah, right. Norm going on Howard after he got fired from SNL was fantastic. No fucks whatsoever. Gotta respect that. That's a fair point, Amy. With Norm, it's like Andy Kaufman-esque. You can't tell if he's lazy or if he wants us to think he's lazy. I think there's definitely that at play. I think it's even like in his wardrobe. Like, there's times where he'll do an interview and he'll be like in sweatpants and some like sloppy shirt, like he just rolled out of bed. And other times, you know, I think he shows you what he cares about. Whenever he did Letterman, he was always wearing a suit, dressed to the nines, well groomed. If he did some other show, he would dress like a slob and kind of like not mail it in, but act like he didn't really care to be there. But when it really mattered, he was there. No, I don't like Louis C.K. I think I talked about that before. I can't stand Louis C.K. Never liked him. Never found him remotely funny. It just doesn't do it for me. And no, I don't like Bobby Lee. I mean, you know what? I will walk that back a little bit. I think he's funny, but I don't like him now, but I think he's put himself out there, and he's done really funny stuff. He's definitely made me laugh, but I fall short of saying I'm a fan. Yeah, I saw that clip of Farley on Letterman recently where he's like fucking running like a maniac through the studio audience and doing like cartwheels and flips, and then he finally makes it up to the stage and sits down on the couch and he looks like he's gonna drop dead. He's like dripping with sweat. That was great. That's a good point too. Yeah, Norm always brings a friend of his on interviews that he could throw under the bus. Yeah, that's how Artie got on Stern's radar, because he brought Artie on to promote Dirty Work, wasn't it? For everybody who likes Chris Farley, let me ask you this: Do you guys like? Do you guys like Black Sheep, the movie Black Sheep? I think Black Sheep is fucking awful. I can, Tommy Boy I'm not as big on either, but I think Black Sheep is so bad. Do you guys like, if the people that like Farley, do you like Black Sheep? Yeah, that's the thing with him and Norm. He pretends to be a dumb guy, but he's crazy intellect. Do you want to hear more about my time with Mark Harris? I pretty much told you the whole thing with Mark Harris the last time. We became really. I mean, we became friendly. I won't say, I'll fall short of saying friends, but we talked a lot. I was kind of like. It was in a weird way. Mark Harris was kind of like Perry, where when I first started talking to him, it was kind of like a novelty. Like, oh, I'm talking to Mark Harris. And then the more I talked to him, the more I kind of had a lot of affection for him. And I genuinely liked him, and I rooted for him. Like, he always had some, Mark Harris was this, for people that know who Mark Harris is, you can look him up on YouTube. He was this guy, he was this gay guy, but he wasn't out of the closet at the time. I'm a little tired, so I can't give it my full gusto, but he basically married Martha Raye when she was like in her 80s. Yeah, anybody who hates Norm is for the birds. Yeah, that's another great thing. I hate roasts, or I hate comedians that do well at roasts, but Norm doing that Bob Saget roast is maybe the best thing ever. Yeah, I am gonna get some sleep in a bit, but I'll finish on the Mark Harris thing. So Martha Raye, who was this old school female comic, old woman, she used to do USO shows with Bob Hope back in like the, I mean, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think well into Vietnam. And, so then she meets this Mark Harris, they get married, and Mark Harris kind of became this character on the Stern Show in the early 90s while Martha Raye was still alive. I think she passed away in 94. I could be wrong on that, maybe 93, 94, 95, around there. And he didn't come out of the closet till after she passed away, but and I think you get the impression that he was like leeching off her money or something. But the more I got to know him, that wasn't true. He actually was legitimately protecting her and protected her assets and valued her legacy in a lot of ways. And I think he was a genuinely good guy. He was definitely, he was very Ralph Cramden-esque. He had a lot of schemes, not schemes, but he had a lot of like, he always had something new that he was thinking on that was going to make him rich. Some new TV show he was pitching, or he was always going over to Europe he was one of these, like, I don't know if there's a word, like, how like there are Anglophiles, like people that try to emulate, or not emulate, but they like wish they were British, or they really love everything British, like music and TV and culture. He was like that with like Europe, like Germany and France. He was always going over there to do stuff. So I don't know how many people know who Mark Harris is, but I became very friendly with him, and then we lost touch over the years. And I always wanted to reach out to him and send him an email, like, hey, how are you doing? Because life got busy for me. I went back to school, and like all these things happened, but I always in the back of my mind I want to reconnect with Mark Harris, and then then I heard he passed away. I was really sad to hear that he passed, and I wasn't sure because there was no mention of it. It wasn't even mentioned on the Stern Show, or if it was, I missed it, and so I. And I'm a gay papa, and I love the fact that he played gay papa for me before before it debuted on the Stern Show, so I felt like an insider. He's like, I'm going to play you my new song. I've just recorded it yesterday. Would you like to hear it? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to hear it. It's over the phone. And then he played it like over the phone, and it was like this whatever tape recorder he had, and it was hard to hear over the phone, and he played over the phone. What do you think? I'm like, wow, what can you say? It's great, It's so funny, and he was so serious. I can never tell if he was like trolling me because he was so genuinely serious about these songs that he did. Like he really took great care into them and like was proud of them. So how can you not love a guy like that? There's such a genuine thing to like what they're doing. Okay, so 94 is correct. That's when Martha Raye passed away. But yeah. White or red sauce on pizza? Wow. Well, I don't know about white sauce, but I do like white pizza, like a white slice. There's not really sauce on it, but I do like a white slice every now and again. But yeah, traditional pizza, red sauce, clearly. What was my take about Perry calling McDonald's and telling well, I'm going to tell you what. I had to mute myself not only on the stream but also on the phone because I was in tears crying. Like I haven't laughed that hard from a stream related thing since he spilled the chili on the very first stream. There's something about that hit me right. As sick as I am, and I'll admit that I'm sick of the Randy Callahan story. I'm sick of his reaction to it. I'm sick of him telling it. I'm sick of everything having related to it. But him calling and the fact that that woman was still on the phone, whether or not she was paying attention to every word or not was inconsequential. I had literal tears streaming down my face. And for me to be able to laugh at something that Perry does is a big deal because I'm so desensitized to it. But I was crying. I was crying laughing when he did that. That was one of my favorite. And whoever came up with that, it's fucking brilliant. It's fucking great. I loved it. And yeah, I'm not opposed to him calling different people doing that. It was just so stupid. Yeah, he did a good job too. It's like I have to listen back to it, but he was just like, I'd like to ask you about some of your menu items now. I need to tell I can't even do it without laughing. Like, I need to tell you about what happened to me in 1992. And the woman, the fact that she was still there, because you could hear the business of McDonald's still going on in the background. And she's like, I wish I had a video of her reaction. So crazy. It was so stupid, but it's like, that's what I love. I love the stunts that are like so stupid, but they make they make us laugh. Oh my god, that was so stupid. But first, I need to tell you about this 1910. Can you imagine? And the fact that he doesn't understand why that's funny. Oh my god. Israel or Palestine? I'm gonna go with both. I think they're both good guys. They just got to come together. I think there's good on both sides. They just got to come together. Oh yeah, that's right. She said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't alive in 1992." Not a fan of work. Well, see, you're not effing with overworked, underpaid workers in that instance, because I think they're oblivious. You're not like, see, if you were calling there constantly pranking them, that's different. This was just one-off call, and they get, what would you rather have, a call with somebody complaining about their order wasn't right, or some guy telling you about a story that happened to him in 1992? I don't think it was effing with them. I really don't. And I think she was probably entertained by it, to be honest with you, if she was even paying attention. So I don't agree that was effing with, because I know I'm normally with you. I'm very respectful of service people, service industry people, and customer service. But yeah, I agree with Hero. Perry made her night. Yeah, I agree with you, Belushi Sushi. Whoever is ordering the cement is tipping well to the person, and it's also, someone's gonna have to lug that away. It's not gonna be Perry. So, yeah, I agree with you. And that guy looked pretty burly who was delivering it. Did he have an arm injury? I didn't even notice that. Yeah. I've noticed like repeat delivery drivers coming to his place, just like looking at the Ring camera. Because sometimes I'll look through it to see if I should include it in like an edit. Like sometimes they're just boring, but the repeat people now, they literally just drop it at the door, give a quick knock, and run away because they know where they're going. Like they've been there before. Yeah, the last time it did take him a long time, right? Didn't he get? There was something else he got too that he needed help with. I forget. I forget all the deliveries. Whoever did the Domino sandwiches though tonight, that was another bravo. His number one, he got a good reaction, and there was a lot. I couldn't believe he went for a lot. He's been going for a lot of stuff lately. Stuff that I am surprised by, like the fact that he hurled that sandwich, and then even the shoes thing. Pretty good. Yeah, Perry danced twice with the shoes on. He did he did a really bad river dance, and he did the moonwalk. I think the chicken has to be in the boot still. Has to be. I think the chicken bones are still in the credenza as we speak. I think there's still an egg under his couch cushion as well as in a popcorn tin, unless he's going into that tin and having popcorn. I love watching the chat too when he finds an egg. There's just the rampant disappointment. Like, oh no, he found it. Oh no, the egg. I think that's great. Like, just another stupid thing. Like, people look forward to seeing the one on top of the air conditioner. I was surprised that he remembered that one. But there's definitely one under that couch. Because like when he does the thing where he screams in the couch and he complains about the smell, can you just imagine all the things that are in there? You got a rotten egg underneath the cushion, and God knows what else is on. He's not cleaning that couch very well. Does Perry know about the after shows? Yeah, because I'll tell him the next day. I'm like, yeah. He's like, not that I'm gonna go along tonight, but I forget. Like, he'll call me. There's one Friday where we went. I don't know. I can't remember. It was recently, and he said, yeah, I did 4 hours. I did 6 hours last night, whatever. And I said, yeah, and I did an additional 4. He's like, you did 4? I'm like, yeah, like not that he would ever listen to it or he doesn't care, but yeah, no, he knows. I'm very transparent with him. Like, even if we have a phone call, now I'll just be like, hey, is it okay with you if I put that on Patreon? I'm like, yeah, okay. And then on the stream, sometimes I'm like, you're putting our private stuff up there, but I want to make sure he knows about everything. Like, like, hey, like if he leaves me like a crazy voicemail, I'll call him like, hey, is it cool if I play that on the stream or something? He's not that advanced. You're giving him way too much credit if you think he's gonna fake being DRP to get out of streaming. His brain doesn't work that way. The one where Perry came back, yeah, I forget which stream that was, but like he came back because he sat in front of the computer to do his nightly business, and we just happened to catch him at the right moment. But yeah, he was surprised that we would. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand like why we'd still be talking. An hour or two after. Yeah, the couch scream has become a Friday staple. Yeah, he'll just go on and on. I wonder like how long he'll go if I don't stop him. I don't know what he thinks about the animations. He hasn't said anything like off the stream. Like you could see his reaction. Like he'll laugh a little bit, but then he's listening. And I always like when Perry hears his own voice and he's agreeing with it. Like he'll like nod his head, like yes, that's right. Like I was right here. Like he's like, I don't I don't know what he has to admire. At least the technical aspect of the animations is just so good. No, I'm not gonna call Perry now. I just don't want to. There's only so much I could hear his voice in one day. No, Perry's not autistic. Yeah, he laughs at them a little bit, but then he catches himself. Like then he'll snap back. Well, I didn't want him to send me the lolly. I didn't really want the lollipops. I was trying to think. It was something else that happened tonight. Yeah, I always forget too. Like there were so many things that went on. There was one other thing that happened tonight that I thought was pretty extraordinary. Can I talk Perry into auctioning his skateboard? Oh, his actual skateboard? That'll be funny. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I actually don't even know what kind of skateboard he uses. I've never seen it. I mean, I've seen it in like videos and stuff, but I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, I think Perry has about 9. If you're talking about the big 3 boards, I think he has 9 left. No, I'm not gonna call him now. I'm actually gonna get ready to sign off because again, I'm running on fumes. Yeah, maybe on Sunday. I'll make a mental note of that to ask. If it comes up in conversation, I don't want to ask out of the blue. Yeah, but somebody would buy that maybe. Yeah, 9 signed boards. I believe that's the number because a couple people bought some this week, so the number went down. It could be 8 or 9 left. I don't know if that's around the number. There's 9 of them, and I'll probably redo a post on Patreon where I just put the last 9 remaining. Because people, there's individual photos of each one, and you can pick which one you want. I'm on Long Island. That's the borough I'm in. I grew up in Brooklyn. Moved to Long Island, and I've lived in Manhattan, I've lived in Queens, I've lived in Brooklyn, obviously, I've lived in the Bronx, and yeah, the only borough I haven't lived in is Staten Island. I don't think that one's coming. The poop painting, yeah, that's a good one. Let me ask you this though: if you're buying the painting, do you want him to sign it, or do you want to leave it as is? Like, is it just adding a signature either on the front or back, make it more valuable? Oh, thanks, man, Smell. Thanks, Tom. Wishing speed recovery for your dad. Really appreciate that. Thank you. I know if my dad actually knew what that I did these, I would pass that along to him. I don't think he'd really understand, but that's cool. Because, like I said, he's not used to feeling weak, and I'm not used to seeing him like that either. So I think it's a little jarring for everybody. So that's cool. I appreciate. There's a lot of people sent me messages too the past hour or two, well wishes about my dad. Oh, Tim, we're getting Trevor on the stream for sure. I mean, Trevor subscribed the other night. Trevor's a fan of the streams. He's totally cool, totally on board. I just got to figure out how we're gonna work that. But Trevor, I had a dream. I said this to the moderators this week. I had a dream that Trevor came into Perry's apartment and was on the stream. Like literally, it's very rare that I dream about the streams. I do. It happens sometimes. And yeah, Trevor was in my dreams, and he came on, and he was just like talking to the camera and stuff. And then the very next day, he was in the chat, like, and it was legitimately him. We verified it. In fact, Scott asked him, if you're really Trevor, go out on the Ring camera, and knock on Perry's door. And he did. He walked outside. I guess Perry didn't hear the knock, but it was on the Ring. It was him. He was waving to the camera. Verified. That's the easiest way to verify it. Go in front of the Ring. It was him. So it was. So yeah, we'll do something with Trevor's totally good. Think about all the shit that Trevor has put up with, and the thing that my pitch to Trevor is like, I just love that. I just love how much everybody loves Trevor, and I don't want anybody to be a jerk to Trevor or like say anything bad about Trevor. Don't send him anything, because he's so cool. Like, think about all the shit he puts up with. So as long as Trevor is like treated as like a worship deity, I am totally down for doing stuff with Trevor. Yeah, like the wacky, like Kramer, like comes in to borrow milk. Am I Perry's legal guardian in any way? Since Dad said my disability status, do you have some kind of legal authority? Well, without getting into too much detail, yes, I am. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say hello to Trevor when I'm out there. I mean, he's a big part of the stream, and people love him. Trevor needs to go and get some CDs and DVDs off Perry's shelf, show the viewers. Yeah, that'd be the funny thing if, like, I don't know. It's a tricky thing because I don't want Trevor to antagonize Perry too much, but at the same time, you'd want it to be funny. Can anyone watch the Ring camera? No. The Ring has like a very locked down system that you'd have to have like passwords and stuff to get in there and watch the stuff, and it's not a continuous thing. It's triggered by motion, and I trigger. But I'm actually going to look into something, maybe a Ring alternative. Because Ring's been very glitchy lately, for our purposes at least. I don't think Ring was intended to be, use it the way we use it. The auction's going on now. Someone wins the it's active now, but we'll put together like a website. But yeah, like if you send the email to. What is it? Perry Live on Twitch at gmail.com. You can bid on any item you want that was mentioned. I'll put out the full list and stuff. I've just been really slammed this week. But yeah, it's technically going on now. There's already people who have put in bids on the paintings and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's technically going on now. Oh, that's a great idea, Belushi Sushi. I hadn't thought of that. We need Trevor to record audio of what it sounds like from his place. That's a fantastic idea. Because you could hear it again. Getting back to the Ring cam, when I look at just like regular video of like neighbors walking by, and I'll be looking for something else, but you could hear him from the hallway. And there's this one that came across a while ago. Oh, I wonder if I could play it. I'll play it maybe on one of the future after hours because I'd have to dig for it. But there was this really nosy neighbor that was like passing. She was just walking down the hall, and then she hears what's going on in Perry's. She stops right in front of Perry's apartment, and she hears all the screaming from inside, and she like puts her ear up to the door and trying to hear what's going on. It was just really funny. Like clearly not a neighbor that didn't know who he was. Why did Perry adopt Trevor? You'd have to ask him. I mean, that's a private conversation that they had, I guess, recently. That wasn't a stream thing. That was like just Perry talked about it. You see if he's okay. Sending terrifying Tim T-shirts. Yeah, I think Trevor also has. I think he has a YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but I know like maybe like something to do with music, and it'd be really nice if like, once he comes in or whatever, if we could find out what his YouTube channel is and everybody subscribe to it, and be cool and like leave like encouraging comments and like his videos and stuff. Yeah, the Ring camera having a reset button doesn't. It's not the camera itself. It's the software, unfortunately. Like I've said before, um, Ring has ceased support of the Windows desktop as well as the Mac desktop, and they only support the mobile versions, which is nonsense. And the Windows version is what I use to port in to the streams, and it's just you guys see it crashes. Now the archive version is fine, so when I put it on YouTube, eventually, um, that version's fine. But for the live, it's just so I'm trying to figure out a way around that. But like I said, I've had so many other things on my plate, and I'm moving next month, so it's low on my list of priorities at the moment. But I'll get to it. Yeah, he hasn't been. Somebody says, Clutch Connect says Perry's tantrum with the chicken feet in the hallway really shows how loud he is. Yeah, and he hasn't been crazy loud in the hallway recently, but he does get mad. Yeah, that Sir strumming. Even Trevor knocked on his door and was like, "Hey, listen," and that's one of the things where I knew that Trevor was a fan of the streams. He's like, "Hey, listen, I know your viewers are gonna hate me, but you got to take care of this. You gotta get this out of here." Can you imagine having an opening leaking can of that horrible smell? I can only imagine what it smells like, and you just leave it in the hallway for people. No, I'm not moving to LA. I would never move. I fucking hate LA. I'm dreading going there. No, I'm moving like 20 minutes away from, not even 20 minutes away from where I am now. Just moving. It's a move that was supposed to do last year that got tabled because of the pandemic and stuff. So it's a long, boring story. But no, I'm not moving. Fuck, I'm not moving to LA. No. Yeah. Oh, you in LA? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to badmouth your hometown, but yeah, you can buy me a beer. Garrett, you like LA because you just moved there. Well, let's. And I've lived in LA, by the way. Like not a long time, but a brief time, and I liked it at the time. I just don't like it now. I don't. I like every time I go out there, I like it less and less. But I could see why somebody would like it. No, I've never talked to Trevor or any of his other neighbors in depth about Perry. Yeah, there's I can do a whole thing about what I don't like. There's things I do like about LA, but there's just other parts of California I like better. Like I'll take Orange County any day of the week over LA. If I had my druthers and I could live anywhere, I'd be in Orange County or San Diego. Definitely not LA. Taking Route 66 and plan on going to Cali. Where are you coming from? Move to Texas, just not. Yeah, I would not move to Austin. You might as well be in Portland. I would not go to Austin. Yeah, that's a great idea. Belushi, you're on the money with all your suggestions. Buy some crazy low power balls and swap them out with his dining. Yeah, that dining room light drives me crazy. It's insane the way that floods out the camera. That's a great idea. Yeah, Perry's. Well, I mean, Perry's making good money in terms of he's paying his bills and stuff, but he's sustainable. He's able to pay his own rent, pay his own stuff. I gave the figure of like 2,400 a month, which is about right. That's his basic cost of living per month. That includes his rent. That includes all of his other bills, and then buying food and stuff like that. Everything. So he's able to do that and also pay off some debt. And the main debt that's being paid off now is the debt that he owes to his cousins who chipped in. So, and also he's got debt, like a lot of us do. But that's there was a period of time like just a few months ago where he was massively behind on rent, and that's not the case anymore. So that's really a blessing. How is it neighbors not murdered him? I don't know. He's had very forgiving neighbors over the years. Well, it's not $2,400 a month for rent. His rent's cheaper than that, obviously. $24 encompasses everything. All utilities and bills and you know cost of living expenses. There's no argument of deep dish pizza versus New York pizza. I don't think. How could you argue it? Deep dish is disgusting. I live in Austin and I was living the dream. I just lost it. I would slalom my way around human shit on my way to watch Kill Tony on Tuesday nights. Ugh. Yeah, how I view LA. Like God, LA was like that the last time I was there. Did I watch the Ray and Pete video that you sent before YouTube muted it? No, I didn't. Oh no, I did. I'm sorry, I did. I did see. Yes, that was fantastic. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I went down a deeper rabbit hole with that. So yes, thank you. I did. Dark side, yeah, no, you're behind in your Perry. No, he does not get $2,000 a month for disability. That hasn't been the case in a long time. He lost his disability a while back. Really, which is the whole reason why we're here. In a manner of speaking, but no, hasn't had it in 4 years. Where do you live now, Jill? If you're not living in LA? So yeah, LA. So yeah, it's just like weird. I remember leaving LA last time, driving down to San Diego with Robert actually, and it was just like God. It was just depressing. All the homeless people living on the streets, like tent after tent after tent. And I'm a walker. Just being from like New York, like I like to walk if I'm in a hotel, I'll walk down like Sunset Boulevard to like get something to eat or whatever. You can't walk in LA anymore. It's just, I mean, at least where I was, I'm sure there's nice parts. It's just too much. Yeah, how good is Perry at not shouting over comments now? I mean, there's times I'll go in his ear and I'll just be like, shut up, let it play, but other times, if they're, the thing with the comments is to get him at the end, if you zing him at the start, he's going to say something right away. The best one, the ones that play out completely, don't zing him till the end because otherwise he'll, Oh, that sounds like you're in a great spot, Joe. An hour from San Diego. Perfect. I can deal with quasi baby mode, and that's kind of what he's got in lately. Is quasi not he hasn't had full on baby mode in a long time, which is good. We don't want that. But quasi baby mode is fine. We can deal with that. Hearing more and more stories of people from LA about homeless people just punching them in the face. Yeah, fuck that noise. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. As nice as the weather is, and there's nothing in LA to grab me. Like there's nobody. I have a couple of good friends in LA, and I love Mexican food. Mexican food is obviously infinitely better out there. Not as good as San Diego, but very good. But there's not enough out there to lure me. But years ago, like 10 years ago maybe, I was thinking about it. My next upgrade for the setup would be, well, we're talking a ways away because that's going to cost a lot of money, and the channel would have to be, all Perry stuff would have to be somewhat, we'd have to have all debt paid off and then be in the clear and then actually generating an income legitimately. So we're a ways away from that. I don't know what that timetable would be, but assuming that happens, I'd like to get him another apartment, and we could probably get it subsidized somewhere. Maybe in the Valley, maybe even Canoga Park. Just like, and I think a nicer living space. More space for him. More modern. And I think the only way to clear out some of his junk would be for a move. Like you can leave this behind. Because most people pare down when they move, unless you're moving into a much bigger place. But most people pare down their possessions, which he would need to do. But yeah, like get him a nice one bedroom, with a dedicated separate bedroom, nice decent kitchen, living space, just something like that. I'd like to see him in something like that. Maybe Canoga Park or something. I don't know. How does Perry feel about not being able to do his less PC character? I don't think he gives a shit about his characters, to be honest with you. No, Perry's gonna move. Trust me. So this guy says Perry will never move. I'm gonna get him to move at one point. We'll see. With a fireplace, yes, that'll be a necessary. That'll be a necessary upgrade. With a fireplace and close to McDonald's. Can't have Perry in Chicago. He has to be at. He's not going. He's not leaving Southern California. No, yeah, it's right. He can barely remember his characters. He doesn't even remember. He doesn't even remember chat. Yeah, so and I think it's kind of a dead thing. It's like, it's not, if it's not something he's proud of, and he can barely remember it. Like, how funny is it really to get him to do it? No, he doesn't get any complaints. Not that I know of. He doesn't get complaints from neighbors. Yeah, the Crenenza will definitely be moved with him. It's just somebody else was saying as though that apartment that he's in is going to cost the building, Villa Apollonia, so much money to renovate, if it's even possible. If it's even possible. Because it's just, he's done a number on it. Oh, you meant vacation? Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, like I was saying, if we ever do, when we will do like a Perry Caravello live event, I don't know what that would look like, and it probably won't be this year. Like, I see people planning things like for this year, like live events. I still think it's too soon, but when that does happen, I was thinking about Chicago, because guarantee it won't be LA. But I was thinking like Chicago or New York. The egg removal alone will cost $100K. Yeah, you're probably right. By then it'll be really bad. But yeah, somewhere where people are cool to travel to, and we'll have some big to do or whatever. Maybe, and by then maybe we'll have a shit ton of more people. But that's that's a ways away, long time away. You think 15 to 20K? I was actually thinking more than that. I was thinking about the walls, the ceiling, everything has to be redone, everything. I mean, it's just, whew. The mole painting has offer, but it's not sold. Nothing's sold yet. It's still, the auction's going to go on for till the end of May. I haven't decided on a closing date, but there's offers on all the paintings. Yeah, that's a good point, Hero. Can we take a moment to reflect on the fact that Perry used his shop vac to clean egg out of his microwave? Yeah, the shop vac is. Think about the things that he uses the shop vac for when we're not watching. Just, yeah. That was great. The fact that he got that egg in there, I was gonna make him do it again, but then I saw the egg was in there. I'm like, oh, that was pretty damn good. Yeah, turn his apartment into a maintenance closet. I don't know the status of the chicken snowboard boot. We were talking about that earlier. It's probably still in there. I would imagine it's still in there. Yeah, right. The whole thing needs to be scrapped. The bathroom needs to be completely gutted. That tub needs to be redone. New shower, new everything, new sink, new tiling. That carpet is just diabolical. That has to be ripped up, and whatever flooring was underneath that is probably done. So you got to get all new hardwood flooring, and then the kitchen you pretty much got to gut completely. You got to gut everything. You got to take the wall. You got to cut into the walls, take those out, replace the walls. You have to get everything, the kitchen, everything done in the kitchen. All new counters, cabinets, everything, stem to stern. That thing needs to be completely thing. There's no link to the auctions. I'm going to try to get it up on perrycaravellolive.com. But, oh no, believe me, the walls, this guy says since he doesn't smoke, the walls and ceiling shouldn't be too bad. You've not been in there, my friend. The walls and ceilings are very bad. But no, it's basically, we're doing it by email, perryontwitchlive.com. If you want to email your bid, do that. But I'm going to get that website up hopefully this week. I hope we're over that water bottle thing, because that really revolted me. At least now he's using a Brita. So somebody bought him a Brita from one of the streams, like on a mailbag, like a few months ago, and he's actually using that. Hopefully he's not refilling the same disgusting plastic bottle. I mean, you see him drink the water bottles on the stream, so they look okay. Yeah, the fact that's scary. I mean, goddamn. And what we're talking about is the apartment tour video that was on Patreon from last February. That, like, I was really freaked out by that. The fact that you would look at that and drink out of it, and it was like yellow, orangey with black. Ugh, makes me sick. I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it. If he no, I guarantee you he doesn't rinse the nipples on sports bottles. That's guaranteed. And also, that's the thing about, like, keeping a plastic bottle. Like, I'll keep a water bottle in my car, like, in the winter or fall or early spring. But once the weather starts turning hot, you can't keep a water bottle in the car, because the plastic gets hot and the water gets hot. And it's just, it gets disgusting. And you think about living in the valley, like how hot it gets there. And, like, it's just, and then I remember I think I asked him, like, how long he had that. I don't know if it was on the video or not, but I asked him how long he had that bottle. It was years. He was reusing the same bottle. Years. And it wasn't like a bottle that you'd buy on Amazon that was like a reusable thing. In fact, as I think about that, I think that'd probably be a good gift for him, is to get him one of those like reusable water bottles that, like, it's insulated and it stays cold or something like that. That would probably be really good for him, that he can just, his go-to thing. Did he say 15 years? Is that what he fucking said? Well, I don't think it was 15 years, but oh man, that gave me the chills. Like, that was done, I think, the second day I was there. I was there a full day the first time, and that's when we got all the the popcorn deliveries, going through that, and I was also setting up his new computer and doing other stuff, and I had to extend it another day because there was like stuff with his internet not working, and that video was done like midday on the second day, and I was already like, oh boy, did I want to get out of there. I did not want to spend another minute in there. And wow, ooh, fuck, just thinking about it now gives me the chills. Yeah, but right, he says everything, so you can't trust him. He's an unreliable narrator, as we know. But you know it's been more than 3 years, probably 5 years. Yeah, there's pictures of it in the I think the Big Three fan club, because I think I posted that in December, and then the full video is on Patreon. He wanted that video to be 10 times long. It's pretty long. It was 30 minutes. I'll do one next month when I go out there. I'll do an update. I'll do an updated version. Prepare myself. Yeah, that desk is falling apart too. Can you imagine what he looks like behind the desk? It's like an old IKEA desk, and I want to get him a new desk or something, but I don't. I gotta like measure in there. So I think I have to do 2 trips. I'll do this one and get the Adult Swim stuff done, and then I want to take maybe get him some better lighting, and then I want to measure stuff like for what we can realistically put in there as far as a new desk, and that probably won't happen until the fall or whatever. But fuck, yeah, there's so many things. I want to upgrade his camera too, but one thing at a time. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, I like how we spotted the will in the briefcase too. I gotta get some sleep. Hopefully, Dingbat doesn't text me about Whitney Cummings an hour from now. Yeah, he's featured in an Adult Swim series. It's an animated series, but his part is live action, and it's one part, one episode, but has the potential of being a reoccurring character, from what I've been told, possibly, if he does a good job. Hopefully he does a good job. He should. It was written for him. So, and the people that wrote it for him are big fans of the streams. So, I think I've said this where he plays the owner of a really gross fast food restaurant. So it's fast food related. Yeah, he did seem very concerned about Trevor, like not waking Trevor up, but he doesn't care about me. But anyway, guys, all have a great night. Thanks again for coming out. I wanted to hang out a little bit because we haven't done one of these in a while. But we'll see you Sunday at 5 Pacific. And yeah, that should be good. There was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. I love you too. Ciao, ciao. Thank you. But yeah, good night, guys. Let's all get some rest, and hopefully get those tattoos on him on Sunday. We'll see what those look like. Those are Spooky Sammy Productions. I'm looking forward to how that goes. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But all right, good night, guys. Thanks for hanging in.